right, we got to cut in with some breaking news. North Texas quarterback Chandler Morris is hitting the portal. If you recognize that name, it's because he also used to play at Oklahoma and TCU at one point. Coop, I'll toss to you. What do you expect his market to look like?
Well, I don't know. I got to dive into him. That's kind of the part of the process.
You've seen him play some football.
Yeah, a little bit reactionary here, but I think a guy spread offense, quick release. Obviously, I got to dive into the tape a little bit more. But the quarterback position is super interesting when you look at it, just in terms of the arms that we have there. And I know we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but like Matthew Sluka, Justin Martin, some of these guys, Anthony Calandria, guys that have played a lot of ball. And then you have some young guys like Ricky Collins, Marcos De Villa, that were highly rated coming out that haven't played a lot of football. So at the top of the show, we talked about, all right, how do we balance projection versus production and those type of things. Chandler Morris is in the latter of that conversation. We've seen this guy play some football, obviously, at North Texas. I'm excited to get in the tape and kind of see where he ends up.
Yeah, just some stats from the last season, 314.5 passing yards per game. That's fifth in FBS, so definitely some production out on the field. 31 passing touchdowns. He had a 31-12 touchdown to interception ratio. Huff, what's your take on how Chandler Morris will be viewed in the portal?
Well, it's fascinating. I mean, we're not far removed. I guess we are far removed when his transfer from Oklahoma to TCU was amidst a bunch of controversy because Lincoln Riley did not want to allow him to be able to play right away. And that was an era when Lincoln Riley was still at Oklahoma trying to recruit Texas. Now you have the son of a former Texas high school football coach. And was this going to hurt Lincoln Riley in recruiting the state of Texas? I mean, that's so long ago that he was at Oklahoma. But, again, you start looking at quarterbacks that are now, and we saw it with JT Daniels a year ago or 2 years ago, where he went into the portal after leaving USC and ended up at West Virginia. Then it was West Virginia to Rice, and I'm probably missing a school in there. Pitt may have been in there. But it was one of those where, like, by the time you get to the fourth or fifth transfer, and in this case it would only be his third, are you that stopgap? It's not like a Dylan Gabriel situation. When Dylan Gabriel left UCF to go to Oklahoma, there was a lot of reason for that. You had Jeff Lebby coming in as the offense coordinator. It made sense. But then him leaving Oklahoma was not necessarily of his own fruition. It's we've got this young guy in Jackson Arnold. We want to turn it over to him. Oregon said, well, we'll gladly take Dylan Gabriel. And now they're the number one team in the country, and Oklahoma went 6-6. Jackson Arnold's no longer there. So sometimes you have guys at third or fourth school. They're there for a talent upgrade at that position. The school says, this guy's produced everywhere he's been. Then you have others like, it just hasn't hit for you at any of these three schools. So maybe it's starting to become a you thing, and maybe you're just not necessarily worth the guy that we want to bring in, and we'll go get somebody a little bit younger.
Do we think, so we saw him at Oklahoma and TCU and then North Texas. Do you think he's got enough to jump back into the Power Four? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
That one.
Yeah, no, I think it's we live in the world, especially where it's like, we talked about Oklahoma to TCU to North Texas to see the path. Now you got to go prove yourself, right? So now you're looking at one of these guys just kind of a mercenary at the quarterback position. But I think if you're a first-year head coach in the Power Four and you're looking for a little bit of consistency, a little bit of steadiness, and we talked about the balancing act of when it comes to quarterbacks, I think Chandler Morris is kind of one of those names that kind of would pop into the conversation and saying, okay, somebody we could ride with, at least for a rental for 1 year.